A federal judge in Texas has ruled that a provision of the Affordable Care Act mandating free coverage of HIV prevention drugs violates the religious beliefs of a Christian-owned company. So for those of you who can remember the entire Hobby Lobby kerfuffle, where Hobby Lobby, because it is owned by religious folks, didn't want to pay for birth control or provide health insurance that covered birth control for their employees. This is a very similar line of thinking, although in this case, we're talking about people who will literally die if they don't have the money to pay for these medications. Now, let me give you the context here. U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor in Fort Worth on Wednesday granted summary judgment to Braidwood Management, Inc. in its challenge to coverage of Gilead's Truvada and Descovy, the two pre-exposure prophylactic drugs, commonly known as PrEP, are taken daily by hundreds of thousands of Americans, particularly men who have sex with men. Okay. So let me be clear that while the transmission of HIV and AIDS seems to only be focused on gay men, obviously you can contract HIV or AIDS through sex as part of a heterosexual couple. You don't have to be gay to contract it. I hope you guys all know that. I'm sure you do. But let me continue. The suit is being led by Attorney Jonathan Mitchell, the Republican former Solicitor General of Texas, known for his efforts to restrict abortion access in the state. You know, really spending his time focusing on what matters, making this country a little more difficult for people to live in. Mitchell argues that mandatory PrEP coverage forces Christians to subsidize homosexual behavior. And unfortunately, Judge O'Connor, who's a George W. Bush appointee, agreed with that argument. O'Connor said that the Religious Freedom Restoration Act provides a religious exception. O'Connor said that the government must provide this religious exemption to 8 defendants, 6 individuals and 2 businesses, who claimed that being required to provide such insurance coverage violates their sincerely held Christian and non-religious beliefs, rejecting homosexual behavior, intravenous drug use, and sexual activity outside of marriage between one man and one woman. Interesting. So what if one individual in that marriage decides to engage in infidelity and contracts HIV or AIDS by being unfaithful to his or her spouse? Does that matter at all? Oh, it doesn't? Okay, because let's just keep it real. Their bigotry, their hatred, their desire to practice discriminatory behavior toward people they don't like reigns supreme for them. That is the #1 priority. It's not about life. It's not about preserving life. It's not about protecting life. This type of situation, this type of thinking, this very brazen, candid admission by conservatives in Texas makes it abundantly clear that their arguments in regard to wanting to protect the lives of unborn babies is just BS. Because here they have an opportunity to protect human lives, and they're literally fighting against it. And this conservative federal judge has sided with the conservatives bringing this case up to prevent insurance companies from providing coverage from these life-saving drugs that people need. It's insane.
Okay, so there's actually 2 issues here. One is the absurdity that the Supreme Court has created. Look at the ruling here. It says this company, it would violate the company's sincerely held religious beliefs. Companies don't have sincerely held religious beliefs. Companies are legal fictions. They're things that we created out of law. They're not human beings. But the Supreme Court says, no, they are human beings. They have all of humans' protections and rights and constitutional rights. Like they have the right to speak through money, through millions of dollars that they give in bribes to politicians, and they have religious beliefs. That's absurd. It's absurd. I don't want to just read that to you guys and not note how insane that is, just because we live in an Orwellian Alice in Wonderland insanity because of the Supreme Court. They give companies more rights than we humans have because we live under corporate rule. And all that Supreme Court and right-wing judges are is the Praetorian Guard for corporate rule. Okay, so now onto the how the right-wingers are the party of hate. It's not hyperbole. It's not meant to be a political attack. It's just a fact. So let's just take them at their word. Okay, so let's say, hey, you know what? They're worried that people who are gay could take this life-saving drug. And yeah, let's just assume that they're the only ones who get HIV. Okay, take them at face value. So they're saying, well, we don't like gay people, and so we want to let them die. You see how wonderfully religious and moral we are? No, I don't see it. You see how pro-life we are? No, I don't see it. You just said, I don't want to pay for life-saving medication for someone because I think they might be gay, and I hate them for it, and I would prefer that they die. So, I mean, make up your mind. Who are you? Are you a moral person? You're not remotely moral, okay? You're bigots, you're homophobes, you're disgusting. By the way, Anna, did they go around, I mean, to a point that you kind of made earlier, did they say, hey, you know what, if someone is divorced, I want to make sure that they don't get life-saving medication because the Bible says that you're supposed to be against divorce. How about, I'll go to my old one. Because, God damn it, it's not literal. Shellfish, did they go around saying, if you eat lobster, you eat shrimp, we want to make sure that you don't get life-saving medication. Well, that's in the goddamn Bible. It's in the Bible. You don't care about the Bible. You just want to hate other human beings. That's who the right wing is. Just be honest about it, and we'll move on.
I just want to also bring up the fact that companies, regardless of what their religious beliefs are, do not have the ability to determine what their employees spend their money on. So just to make it very clear, if I'm working for some sort of religious organization that doesn't happen to be tax exempt, whatever, and I take my paycheck and I buy, I don't know, a bunch of meth with it, they don't have the ability to tell me what I can and can't spend my money on based on whatever beliefs they have. If I take their money and I decide to spend it at a strip club, they don't have the legal right, first of all, to investigate what I'm spending my pay on. And more importantly, they can't tell me what I can and cannot spend my money on. So how is the health insurance they provide to their employees any different? I mean, think about that level of control that they want over the lives of their own employees. It's none of their goddamn business what they need their health insurance for. It's none of their goddamn business what they spend their paychecks on. But according to this federal judge, and according to so-called small government conservatives in this country, no, they think that it totally makes sense for us to live under the control and rule of our bosses and of big government. That's very clear in this ruling.
Yeah. Look, then you will see Republicans all over television and social media tell you, we don't hate gay people. We don't hate gay people. I don't know what you're talking about. We're for freedom, right? I mean, we want them to die, and we want to take away life-saving medication because we judge them as sinners because we're so moral, because moral people hate people so much that they want them to die. But we no. You can't call the Republican Party bigots. No, you are bigots. You are. You're the part you're in. If you're a Republican, you say, oh, well, I don't believe that, Cenk. Have you done anything about it? Have you done anything to change the Republican Party? Does it look like you're winning within the Republican Party? But yet you vote for those people anyway. You vote for those people and you are voting for hatred. That's who you are. You have hatred in your heart. You know what you should do? Ironically, you should find God. You should find any method of finding morality in your life because you're leading a deeply immoral life. Look, I don't hate the sinner. I hate the sin.